Note this. How often we opt for faith in someday when Jesus offers himself now. Right now, I'm talking about. Jesus Christ, okay, would touch the deadness in you today. Today. Before you leave here this morning. And you gotta snatch your someday, maybe down the road, I guess, that's hopeful. You gotta get it out of the down there and get it into the right now. How often we opt for faith in someday when Jesus offers himself right now. Now listen, nothing is over. Nothing is over. If you have been allowing the sense that your best days are behind you, that your best days of life, your best days of victory, your best days of marriage and family and walk with Christ. Listen, I know it's true. There are people listening right now on one of these campuses that we call Harvest Bible Chapel, and you're in here today somehow, and you believe with all of your heart that the good stuff is behind you and that the awesome, miraculous, God-honoring, joy-producing, that's in the past, and now somehow what's ahead of you is just getting through and getting to heaven. Nothing is over. Jesus Christ can do anything. I'm going to ask you again, who needs a resurrection? Maybe it has to do with someone you love. Maybe it has to do with something you long for. Maybe it has to do with a pattern that has to be broken. Maybe it has to do with that initial step of turning to Jesus and bringing your broken, tattered, shattered life to him and letting his resurrection power give life where there's only been death. Kathy and I have 3 kids, one at birth, one in high school, and one in college, all in very different ways. I thought all 3 of my children were dead. And by God's grace today, they are more alive than they have ever been. In 1990, I saw this church lose 40% of its members and nearly collapse when it had hardly begun. In 2000, I saw this church divided by evil, divisive people and felt devastated personally by false accusation. In 2007, I saw this church almost bankrupted by people I should have been watching and leaders that wouldn't act. And in every one of those situations where it seemed it's gone, it's done, it's finished, it's over, the living Christ brought his resurrection power to bear upon that situation and turned it around and set it going in a better direction. I'm telling you, there's a Savior. I serve a risen Savior. He's alive in the world today. You say, James, I need more of that. Let me tell you how I've kept going. I've turned so many times and stood with parents holding babies in their arms, parents over whom doctors had pronounced verdicts of death. You'll never have children. I've seen couples laughing and holding hands whom counselors told, hang it up, it's over. Most of all, I've seen thousands, say thousands, wait. Most of all, I've seen thousands whose sinless, dead souls were so, I don't need Jesus, so pridefully entrenched in their shallow secularism. And I've seen the risen Christ penetrate their minds, and I've seen them stand in the baptistries of this church and proclaimed a life that has been transformed by the power of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We've seen addictions broken and depression shattered and despair dispelled. And Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And He wants to do for you what He's done for others. You say, oh, if only I could have that, if only I could experience that. Watch how Martha does, and you can too. So Jesus says, your brother will rise again. Martha's like, I know he'll rise in the resurrection. People keep saying that to me. Someday, someday, someday. I know he'll rise in the resurrection. Jesus said, I am the resurrection. I am the resurrection. Actually, that phrase in the original language, the word order is not certain, and maybe the best translation is not I am the resurrection. Maybe the best translation is the resurrection is me. It's a person. It's not an event. I love that. The resurrection is me. Note also, please, that we have the fifth I am statement. I am the light of the world. I am the bread of life. I am the door. I am the good shepherd. And now, here it is, number 5, here it comes. I am the resurrection and the life.